Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This presentation is brought to you by Mati-Ullah-Khattak. Our topic is The Merchant of Venice, a play which is written by William Shakespeare. We have certain objectives to achieve that you must try to get at all possible cost. At the end of this lecture, you must try to know what is a comedy, what is a tragedy, and what is a tragedy comedy. So you must be able to know the difference in these three categories of a play. You must be able to know that taking revenge is a curse forever. And you must be able to be clear regarding the concept of a true friendship. And at the last, but not the least, that you must be able to appreciate the character of Shylock, Antonio, Bassanio, Portia, Nerissa, and Greciano. In our last lecture, we discussed that Portia was impatient somehow to help her husband's friend named Antonio, who was in great trouble because of her husband's fault. So she herself decides to go to Venice to plead the case in the Senate House before the Duke of Venice. So she wrote a letter to one of her relatives named Bellario, who was a counselor by profession, and he gave her necessary instructions and guidelines to proceed in the court. Now she presents herself in the court before the Duke of Venice, and she adopts the name of Balthasar while concealing her real appearance. The Duke and all the members present in the court were much impressed by her young looks. Today we will see how does the case proceeds in the court. And now begin this important trial. Portia looked around her and she saw the merciless Jew. Merciless means the cruel Jew. And she saw Bassanio, but he knew her not in her disguise. Disguise means in her concealed appearance, because she had concealed her real appearance. Bassanio was standing beside Antonio in agony. An extreme sort of pain or difficulty is called agony, and that agony was that of painful situation. So he was in extreme agony of distress. He was in extremely difficult situation. He was in extremely painful situation, and he was suffering from the fear for his friend. He was afraid that his friend might lose his life. The importance of the arduous task Portia had engaged in gave this tender lady courage. Arduous task means very difficult task. So you can see over here the meanings. Arduous task, this very difficult task, Portia had engaged in, that Portia had taken to perform, gave this tender lady courage, this young lady, and she boldly proceeded in the duty she had undertaken. that she had promised to do. Undertaken means that she had promised to do, to perform. And first of all, she addressed herself to Shylock. She first of all talked to Shylock and allowing that he had a right by the Venetian law to have the forfeit expressed in the bond. Forfeit means the taken away, that what has been written in the bond, you can take it away. What was that taken away thing? That forfeit? That was a pound of flesh, as it had been written in the bond. She spoke so sweetly of the noble quality of mercy as would have softened any heart but the unfeeling Shylock. Unfeeling means the cruel Shylock, saying that it dropped is the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath, and how mercy was a double blessing. It blessed him that gave and him that received it, and how it became monarchs better than their crowns, being an attribute of God Himself, and that earthly power came nearest to God's in proportion is mercy tempered justice. So let us see the meaning of typical words. Attribute means it is the quality of God Himself. In proportion means in ratio, in size, in share. Tempered means added. So if mercy is added to justice, it makes the person um, of equal importance to God. So monarchs, a king or queen is also called monarchs. So she had undertaken, she had promised to do that job. Now let us give a bit of explanation to those sentences which you think are difficult. Those important points. Now the trial begins, the case, the proceeding begins. And this is very important. A case, that's why the writer says the important trial begins. And she looks around. She saw the merciless Jew, the cruel Jew, the unfeeling Jew. She saw in the court. He was standing and he was constantly looking at Antonio, and he was sharpening his long knife. He was eager some when to cut a pound of flesh from Antonio's body so that he should die as soon as possible. But he knew her not. There is this point. She saw Pasenio, who was standing beside his friend Antonio, but Pasenio did not know her because she had disguised herself. She had concealed her real identity or real appearance. Antonio Bassanio was in extreme sort of agony, distress, or painful situation because he was afraid that his friend might lose his life. So the importance of the arduous task Portia had engaged in, this difficult task that she had undertaken, that she had taken as a duty. This gave this task, though it was very difficult, but it gave her great courage, and she proceeded in her duty. And she proceeded how? In a very bold manner. She proceeded to perform her duty that she had promised to do for her husband's friend. And what she first of all she did, she addressed herself to Shylock, and she permitted him that he has this right by the law of Venice to take away the flesh as it has been written in the bond. But before doing this, she spoke so sweetly of the noble quality of mercy. She spoke about mercy as a great quality that was not only liked by human beings but also by God as well. Because we pray to God for mercy, and if we pray to God for mercy, it becomes our duty to show mercy to people. As the writer has said over here in the last line, that God's in proportion is mercy tempered justice. If mercy is mixed up with justice, added to justice, you become near to God. In size, in proportion, you become close to God. So she spoke about the great qualities of mercy. She spoke in such a way that it would have softened, made any hurt softened, but the cruel Shylock, it had no effect upon the cruel Shylock's heart. Uh, she said that it dropped as a gentle rain. So she compared mercy to gentle rain that it drops from the heaven upon the earth. And she said that it is a double blessing because the person who receives mercy, he is blessed, and the person who blesses, who shows mercy, he is also blessed. So it is double blessing. It blessed him that gave. The person who shows mercy, he is also blessed, and the person who receives it, he is also blessed. And she also said it became how it became monarchs better than their crowns. Monarchs, kings, or queen, they become more worthy of their crowns when they show mercy. So what the writer means that kings are queen, and they are given respect by their subjects, by their people, not for their crown, not for their position, not for their authority. Crown is here a symbol of authority, power, but for mercy. If they are merciful, people give them more respect, not because they are persons in authority, they are powerful, they have power, they have authority, not for that cause, but because they show mercy. So the writer says they become monarchs become better than their crowns. King or queen, they are given respect not for their position but for the mercy those they show to people. Being an attribute of God, it is the quality of God Himself, because God shows mercy to people upon earth, and that earthly power came nearest to God. Those uh, those persons who are in power on earth, they come to nearest to God if they show mercy as well. Because only justice can't do anything. It should be added. We should aid. It should be added with mercy, and then the person comes to God in proportion, in ratio, in share, in everything. That is the quality of God. So let us see in the next. And she bade Shylock remember that as we all pray for mercy, that same prayer should teach us how to show mercy. Shylock only answered her by desiring to have the penalty forfeited in the bond. Is he not able to pay the money? Asked Portia. Bassanio then offered the Jew the payment of the 3,000 ducats, as many times over as he should desire, which Shylock refusing, and still insisting upon having a pound of Antonio's flesh. Bassanio begged the learned young counselor would endeavor to wrest the law a little to save Antonio's life, but Portia gravely answered that laws once established must never be altered. Shylock, hearing Portia say that the law might not be altered, it seemed to him that she was pleading in his favor, and he said, "A Daniel is come to judgment. O wise young judge, how I do honor you! How much elder are you than your looks?" Portia now desired Shylock to let her look at the bond, and when she had read it, she said, "This bond is forfeited, and by this the Jew may lawfully claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off nearest Antonio's heart." Then she said to Shylock, "Be merciful, take the money, and bid me tear the bond. Bid me, say to me, ask me, say to me to tear the bond. Show mercy." So she is repeating this this feeling. She is trying to erase this feeling of Shylock to show mercy. But no mercy would the cruel Shylock show. And he said, "By my soul I swear, there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me." So he he swore that nothing can change my mind. No tongue of man could alter him. Why then, Antonio? Said Portia. So Portia said to Antonio, "Why then are you ready? You must prepare your bosom for the knife. So you must prepare your chest for a pound of flesh to be cut off from any part of it." And while Shylock was sharpening a long knife. Now let us see the difficult meanings and explanation as necessary. So while addressing herself to Shylock, she said to him, "Bet Shylock said to Shylock that you should remember, you should keep this thing in mind that we pray to God for mercy. That same prayer should teach us to show mercy. So our prayer should teach us this lesson that we should also show mercy to someone if he does something wrong." But Shylock answered by desiring. Now, what Shylock says to her in response, he desired that I would like to get the penalty, to get the punishment forfeited in the bond, which I should take away. Forfeited means that I should cut off, that I should take away, as it is expressed in the bond, as it is written in the bond, that I should take it away if he fails to return the money on the appointed date or day. Now Portia asked the Duke, "Is he not able to pay the money?" This means that is Antonio not able to pay the money back? Asked Portia. There, so Bassanio was present there. He at once offered the Jew the payment of the 3,000 ducats. So he offered the 3,000 ducats as many times over as he should desire. And he said that it is many times over than the amount that he should desire, Shylock should desire, with Shylock refusing, but Shylock rejected that offer and still insisting, and he emphasized upon having a pound of flesh of Antonio's body. He was eager to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. He rejected the offer of the money, which was much more than that he could desire for. So Bassanio begged the learned young counselor. Learned young counselor here means Portia. The educated, the experienced young counselor. She was looking quite young. This liar, as she was disguising herself, Bassanio requested her that you should make an attempt. Endeavor means you should make an attempt to change the law if possible, to rest the law a little, to change the law a little, to save Antonio's life. But Portia, because he wanted to save his friend's life somehow, but Portia, in a very serious manner, replied that laws once formulated could not be changed. When Shylock heard Portia's response to Bassanio, he became very happy. He became very emotional, and he said that the law might not be altered. When Shylock heard that Portia was telling Bassanio that the law could not be changed, it seemed to Shylock that she was pleading in his favor, that she was arguing. Pleading means arguing the case in favor of Shylock against Antonio. And he said, and he exclaimed, he shouted, he said in a very loud voice, Daniel has come to judgment, that a very wise man has come to decide the case. O young judge, oh wise young judge, you are wise and you are quite young. How I do honor you, I show a lot of respect to you. How much elder are you than your looks? So he praised continuously in few sentences that you look much elder than your looks. You are quite young. You are quite young. Your looks shows that you are quite young. Now Portia proceeds further in the case, and she desired Shylock to let her look at the bond, that he should allow me to give a look to the bond. And when she had read it, she said, "This bond is forfeited, and by this the Jew may lawfully claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off nearest to Antonio's heart." When she read the bond, she said that legally, lawfully claim, he may legally claim to cut a pound of flesh nearest from Antonio's heart, and this bond is forfeited. This bond goes to him. He should take away a part of flesh from his body. Then she said to Shylock, once again, she addressed herself to Shylock and said to him, "Show mercy, take the money and bid me tear the bond, that I should turn it into pieces." But no mercy would the cruel Shylock show, but he did not show any mercy, and he said in a very cruel way, "By my soul, I take, I swear by my soul that no power can change my decision." So then Portia addressed herself to Antonio and said to him, "Are you ready?" Why then means, "Are you ready?" You must prepare your bosom, you must get ready your body, your chest for the knife. And Shylock at the same moment was sharpening. He was abetting. He was sharpening a long knife that he was holding in his hand. Daniel means a wise man, a legendary character. Endeavor, attempt, established. established once formulated. So this is the end of this lecture. If you feel that something is difficult to understand, do ask about it in the comment box. Thank you very much.